Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 83 and things are going incredibly well. Despite taking a gamble this summer and sticking with a low budget and on the face of it low quality squad, we're doing what so often happens for the first Premier League season and we're causing a few little shocks and we're showing one hell of a character. I've got to be honest, I've probably never been more invested in a team in over 17 years of playing FM than I am at this moment. We're only 7 games into the season. I've already broken my chair celebrating goals, so it sinks every time I sit on it now. But I just can't hide what I feel for this team. They're absolutely brilliant. And I'm going to whisper it quietly. This is starting to eclipse my feeling to the Bangor City side last year. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on today against West Ham and Wolves, two of the sides that are expected to be in the mid-table battle this year, then please do put a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. We've got a big transfer special to come in the head coach tomorrow, a great way to finish the week over there too. You can join the show as a channel member if you wish to down below. And there's links in the eye above to the football podcast and the Twitch channel for regular live streams. But let's get on with this because financially things are great. Off the pitch things are going really well. The board have agreed to increase our youth level again. The facilities upgrades are completed, as are the stadium ones. So we've got the 12,500 capacity now at Kenilworth Road. But what do we do about this team, which continues to defy all expectation? If I take you to the schedule, we are unbeaten since you were last with me, albeit there's a couple of draws in there. Albeit we've not been convincing, you're going to see a theme with the heroics. So you were with me for Arsenal and transfer deadline day, where we actually weakened the squad by selling Ronnie Stutter. We then played a morale boosting friendly and a fitness boosting one for some of our new backup players. That one a 5-0 victory during the international break. We followed it up with a 1-1 draw against Leeds. Look who scored the late equaliser. Ricky J. Jones, the hero. We did actually bring in John Moore and Tommy Samuels to our starting 11 that game. And we had a few players out injured, so I was really impressed with the result. We were missing in midfield the likes of Christian Flores, who's only just coming back now. We were missing both of our first two left backs, Armin, and the backup Paul Thornhill. And we were also missing Ryan Young at right back. So to get that result, to put in that defensive shift, and for Ricky to nick us a goal, I was over the moon. We then backed it up with a 1-0 win at home to Brentford. Scott Egan rising at the back post from a set piece to nick us a 1-0 win. Away at Watford, the man they ruined, the man they let go, won it from a penalty spot. On a stroke at half-time, Ricky J. Jones put it in. And John Moore, my word, did he turn up to the party that day. At home to Everton last time out. I know a 2-2 draw, but I think maybe a season-defining result. We were 2-0 down with 15 minutes gone. We were 2-0 down with 25 minutes to go. I threw on Terry Clark for Kamari Doyle, who had a number of poor games in succession. And he delivered one of the best substitute performances I've ever seen. He scored the first goal himself, then laid on a beautiful defence-splitting pass for Ricky J. Jones. And even if you look at the game so far this season, he opened things against Brighton, and he's officially won us 5 of our 8 points in the last 4 games, if you look at the goals and what they meant for the result. So he is going to be the key man this year. We've had a few little knocks and injuries, but as long as he doesn't become one of them, I fancy us to be alright. This is the last 2 games of a run where I would expect to get results. Then we play against some of the massive boys in the league. So I don't know whether we've got a false position because we haven't played any big boys in recent games, or whether we really are going to shock some teams this year. I guess the proof will be in the pudding of the next 2 games. Move to Sunday and Friday for TV. It's only a 5-day break, but I'm hopeful we'll be alright. Let's go and get into the first of them. It's been an absolutely wonderful start to the year. The dynamics are largely looking very good. There are some problems with the club atmosphere though, and it comes back to a gamble I've taken in the summer. That was that we wanted to keep the similar squad about, and we wanted to try and keep people without new contracts, so not go above that 10 grand a week. You can see that the likes of Daniel Georgie are really kicking their toys out the pram about that. Hubert obviously wanted to leave. Josh O'Connor's unhappy because we were playing him as a poacher instead of an advanced forward. That's only happened because we had to sell Stutter. Terry Clark should solve itself because he's getting a go in the first team after last weekend. And then Young Burrow's unhappy that we're potentially signing Hanifan, but the window's closed now, so he shouldn't be worried about that. Let's go and get into the first game of today's episode though, a trip to the London Stadium against a very difficult West Ham side. but against anyone other than the top four this year, we're unbeaten. And I know we've played a lot of sides near the bottom of the league, Brentford, Leeds, Watford, all below us, as are Everton. And Brighton as well, in fairness. But we've not really played these sides in that middle group, and that's going to be probably a barometer of what battle we're going to be in. 2 defeats today, and we could be right back in the thick of it. But for now, we're delighted with the start, and anything other than a defeat is an absolute miracle. They've still got 4 nows this many years in. Also familiar names in the likes of Amad Diallo, Matteo Guendouzi as well, Jeremy Doku, not a bad player himself. But let's pick our 11. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. This is a big game in terms of our season. Well then, a couple of big decisions for this game. Georgie does have to start despite his unhappiness. Has been playing well in fairness to him, one of the players of the team. Flores is back on the bench though after getting injured in that friendly in the first international break. However, the rest of the team is pretty much as strong as it can be. You can see we've got that weakness at centre half, but Samuels has been playing well and is starting to improve, so I hope that won't take too long for him to flourish into a player. Terry Clark comes in as the number 10. He earned it with that substitute performance. Kamari Doyle's been poor, need to kick up the backside. But for now, Terry Clark will be our number 10. The rest of the team is John Moore in goal, Ryan Young and Albie Arm in the fullbacks, Samuels and Taylor at centre half with Scott Egan just in front, Georgie, Hubert and Clark make up the rest of the midfield diamond, and O'Connor and Jones the front two. Got a great partnership. Hopefully O'Connor will get used to playing as a poacher. Is he really that upset that he's playing regular Premier League football? I can't imagine so. Let's see how the unhappiness affects our team though. West Ham v Hemel Hempstead at the London Stadium, and a chance to edge further clear of the Premier League relegation zone. Well, Terry Clark is our only change. West Ham have dropped the likes of Vlasic, Siganov, and it is the first week after the international break, which doesn't affect us as badly as any other Premier League side. I can see they've got Livakovic, the Zagreb and Croatia keeper in goal. He's a very good one. But we've defied the odds this season already, and we've played against very good players. So let's see if we can do it again. The first goal is crucial, but based on the Everton game, it doesn't write us off. Into the first half, West Ham are favourites, but never write our side off. Will the chair break further? Let's go and find out. Well, early doors is a throw into West Ham on the right, and even compared to the other games we've played this season, the size of the pitch is immediately evident. And straight away, West Ham have scored. They're going to VAR. I thought it was on, to be honest. Doku with an absolute screamer. And it's a great volley first time. It's going to be awarded, is it? It is. 1-0 West Ham in the first minute. That's the first time that's happened this year. And maybe we're seeing that while we can beat the top 5 or 6, as they're going to give another penalty here, VAR well and truly in the bigger side's favour. As much as we've competed against the top 6 sides we've played, as much as we've been unbeaten against the bottom 6 or 7, maybe it is just the fixtures being kind to us. And against the good sides like West Ham United, like Wolves next week, are we going to get found out? 5 minutes gone, we're 2-0 down. And the penalty kick, soft as it is, has given West Ham a 2-0 lead. Now we've got to keep it tight. We've got to avoid the confidence hit. We're going to berate the lads and hopefully we get a response. Well, one of my concerns here as we approach the half an hour mark, albeit we've stemmed the tide, is that we've been completely outplayed on the stats. Now, that has happened in one of the other games. I think the Watford one we got outclassed in. But when we beat Leeds and the likes, we did dominate the games. And I think that's perhaps where this is showing the difference against the better sides. But if we can be better than 4 or 5 of them at the bottom, then it doesn't really matter. It's just about finishing 17th this year if we can. As Doku comes down the left, Egan's knocked him out there. That is an awful challenge. 2-footed. Red card is out. And it's just not our day today, is it? Scott Egan's off. We're going to have to go defensive. I'll take off. I might have to do Terry Clark. I think instead of making a sub for now, I'm going to put Hubert into the holding role. We're going to put Clark as a centre mid or a box-to-box. I don't know what's better. Does it make any difference, really? No. So who's the better physically? Georgie. Clark will stay as the centre mid. We'll hope we can keep the score down now. Well, 4 minutes to half-time and Livakovic has got the ball for West Ham again. Probably the first time where things have just gone awfully this season, as Doku gets the ball on the left-hand side. Back to 4 nows. West Ham can control possession, take advantage of that extra man, and take advantage of not having as much pressure on them. We're going to try and hit on the counter, but I know we came back from 2-0 against Everton. I don't see it here with 10 men. And we have been let down a bit by Egan, as Wage comes down the right-hand side. Space to run into, finds Orkan. He takes on Samuels, who's been dragged into a wide position there. Not ideal at all. Guendouzi, back to the fullback. Into Guendouzi again. Cross with the Rabona, headed just wide. It stays 2-0, but only just. And West Ham completely on top. And that's how it stays at half-time. 2 VAR decisions in the first 5 minutes. And then a really poor challenge from Egan. Probably cost us this game. And West Ham now dominating the ball. And with only 5 days off, do we have to worry about fitness? We've still got a problem with left centre-half. I'm now sort of wishing we'd signed Hannifin from Reading. We'll make some subs in a moment, rest a few of the legs. Look, it's not been awful. We were 2 down after 5 and it stayed that way. We'll take that on a day like this. I'm going to take Josh O'Connor off for... We'll decide who in a minute. Terry Clark first will be replaced by Richardson. Haseman's going to start next week, so I'm not as worried about him. What else can we do? Samuel's nervous. Haven't really got a centre-half to replace him. So I'm going to go for Flores on in place of Josh O'Connor. He comes back into the side. Georgie will be replaced in the box-to-box role. He'll go in as a number 10. Jones up front. Do we take him off even just to give him a little rest? Because it's not a game we can come back in. I don't think I can risk that. I can't bring myself to do it. Haseman on for Hubert. Let's rest the whole midfield. Make sure everyone's fresh for Friday night. Half an hour to go, 2-0 West Ham, and it's damage limitation with 10 men. Well, thankfully, West Ham have seen it the same way. 15 minutes to go. They've taken Doku off, who scored both of the goals, and it has helped us keep the score down till now. 4-0's on the edge of the box, and that's the spare man. We were marking everyone in the box from the corner, comes out to the edge of the box. We've lost that extra midfielder. He puts it in the corner. It's a lovely place finish. And it's 3-0. This is the first time we've been utterly outplayed. And that includes the City and Arsenal games. So maybe just a bad day at the office. We need to bounce back against Wolves. But we've not had a heavy defeat yet this year. Will it affect the confidence? That's the big question mark. A 3-0 defeat. A letdown from Scott Egan. Some dodgy VAR decisions. But this team have never let me down before after a bad day. So let's see if we can get back at Wolves. See you in a minute. Friday night football, a different type of pressure because we are playing before everyone else this time and can watch the gap close if we don't do well. Still scouting lots of players trying to prepare for January. I just want to mention what I was saying about the schedule though. If we go and look at some of these recent games, so when we beat Brentford for example, by 1-0, I just want to show you the match stats. So against Brentford, we had the better expected goals, created the better chances, had 60% of the ball. Against Leeds when we drew 1-1, we absolutely dominated and should have been out of sight in that game. Ricky missed a couple. Kamari Doyle missed sitter after sitter. In terms of the Watford game, probably the one we got away with because we were outplayed on the stats there. But the expected goals were close, so our chances obviously good ones, including the pen. And then at home to Everton, it started poorly, but we almost found our way back. And in the end, we had a better expected goal. So we are definitely competitive in most of these fixtures. And probably the West Ham one is the first one we weren't. Although there were warning signs in the Watford performance. So let's see if we can bounce back at home. We've been really good here against everyone bar the top sides this season. But Wolves are up in 6th place. They're going to be no mugs. And you can see from those opposition instructions, they've still got Neves, Neto and Silva, who should all be in their prime now. And Dean Henderson's in goal. He's not too bad either, is he? A sellout, 12,500 every single week now. Egan suspended, Haseman in for him. Flores will be back in the starting lineup for Georgie. Do I need to do anything else? I don't think so. We'll make some adjustments to the bench. We'll go and get into the game. Well, 2 changes to the side. 1 enforced, 1 with Flores back from injury. So we are looking in pretty good shape. And crucially, we've got one of the unhappy players out the team, which might make a difference to morale. But it's been a really good season. I don't want to get derailed by one poor performance and one game with terrible decisions. So let's hope against Callum Davidson's side, we can produce a really good display, get back to our best, and at least avoid defeat if possible. Let's get through the tunnel interview into the first half. Let's get Kenilworth Road rocking under the lights. Well, just over 10 minutes gone. No shots on target yet. 1 chance for either side, and we've had a bit more possession. But Wolves are on the front foot here, and we've seen the talent they've got in their team. I can hear the chair creaking now from celebrations earlier this season and earlier today as I was playing through them. So Fabio Silva's in. Oh, John Moore has let in a pretty poor one there, I'd say. First chance against, and we've let it in. I do worry now. Have we just witnessed the start of the collapse? or can we fight back? Because we've not been outplayed by any means here, but we've got to start scoring. Ricky needs to get on the score sheet, avoid a little drought. That's awful. Why is it all happening today? Oh my word, John Moore lets one in under his body, then comes and gets caught in no man's land from a corner. And we're back fighting from 2 down again. We cannot give teams a 2 goals lead. And it seems that after this international break we've just dried up. Maybe I should have had another morale boosting friendly as Clark finds O'Connor to Ricky J. Jones. Can we get back in it? We can't. He's been dragged left and he's not got the same quality on his weaker foot. We're yet to have our first shot on target as Jones gets it from a throw-in on the right, gives away possession. I can feel the confidence draining out of this team. Taylor does well though, gets it back after a Ryan Young challenge and Samuels brings it into midfield to Hubert, to Clark. Cuts inside to Hubert again. Clark's made space. It's brilliant work. Great save, Henderson. Starting to look a real threat in there. The man that was our record signing until John Moore joined the club. As Flores has got a corner kick. Outswinging delivery. Up to the back post. That's where we miss Egan too. As Clark comes down the left-hand side. Chance to cut in. Just delivers it from the byline on his weaker foot. And Conceição gets it away. Look, there's been nothing in this game. It's just 2 goalkeeping errors. So again, I'm not hugely worried. I just wish we could cut out those individual mistakes. You can't expect that from a young team that's not played at this level. But as we approach half-time, Wolves are getting on top in the stats. And I think we're going to be seeing our first back-to-back defeats. Though Flores with a free kick. One back before the break would help. VAR will check it. But I think Jones is onside here. Could we be seeing a repeat of the Everton game? If we can get a point, it's a great result. The goal is awarded. A lifeline before half-time. And Ricky, whatever you say about everyone else, he keeps scoring goals. He keeps delivering. We're going to tell the lads we want a bit more. We've got most of them motivated. And let's see if we can get that equaliser. Hopefully, we can go from strength to strength. Well, 25 minutes to go. And this is about the time against Everton we made changes and had a massive impact. And we're going to try and do the same today. Firstly, we're going to have to make one defensive change. Young, tired, on a yellow card, looking apprehensive. We can't risk it. Bennett Sharif is on for him. In midfield, Flores is playing really well, but do I want him to play 90 minutes? We should have over a week off after, so I'm not going to worry. Terry Clark is going to come off. I'm going to give Kamari Doyle a chance to become a hero again. And then up front, Josh O'Connor replaced by Adam Boschel, just to get all the unhappy players off the pitch. 20 minutes remaining, only 1 goal in it, and we've come back from here before, as there's a long ball forward towards Boschel, the sub. Alvarez intercepts and goes wide to Onyeka. Out to Neto on the right-hand side. Wolves still got that quality and they are in the top 6. We've got to bear that in mind. But we're competing again as Onyeka gets it in. Fabio Silva cuts back to Neto. Oh, that's brilliant. The first goal we've conceded that wasn't the goalkeeper's error. But this game looks a bit like the City and Arsenal one. Ignore the individual errors at the back, but we've been competitive. It's been a fairly even game, but Wolves are just a slightly better side. Look, they're 2 points off the top of the league. They've got a throw on the right again though, and what we don't want is to get back-to-back heavy defeats, because we haven't deserved it today, as Kamari Doyle makes a good challenge, but it falls to Wolves 30 yards out. Switch of play to Michaelenko. He can cross in, Neto's there, and Moore's made another mistake. He's dropped it in at his near post. He's got to keep that out. Well, the honeymoon's over. We saw it in the Championship and in League 2 in previous seasons, where we came up, had a great start, and then just collapsed. I think that might happen here. I really do. Samuels picks the ball up to Hubert. We're playing all the top sides next month, and if we pick up even less than 2 or 3 points, we're going to be right in the scrap. Hazeman up to Hubert. The only positive is that Ricky's still scoring, and we've got a couple of players to come back to fitness, as Samuels finds Hubert to Kamari Doyle. Back to Hubert again. If we can make this a bit closer, keep the goal difference respectable, that would be ideal. Flores will get fitter, will get better. And Doyle finds Jones. He's in again. Ricky J. Jones scores again. And he is a constant threat and a constant thorn in the opposition side. If we're going to stay up, as we've seen last month, he is the man. But bar playing the bottom 6 or 7, we've not looked like winning a match. And I think that tells us what we're going to see for the rest of the season. Whenever we play those sides in a relegation mix, we've got to show them. Because they're 6-pointers and they're really important to our chances of surviving. The fact we've got a chance after our start to the season is enough in itself. But that was really poor. 3 defensive errors from John Moore. Let's look at the positives from that game. If Moore hadn't made those 3 mistakes, we would have won on the balance of open play. But that's easy to say in hindsight, isn't it? The positive, there's 4 teams there on really awful points totals at the bottom. And we need to keep them there, because if they start catching us, we're in big, big trouble. We've got 4 games coming up next month. Tottenham, Chelsea, Leicester, Liverpool. I wouldn't expect any points there. Sheffield United are bottom of the league. I've got to show that game in the next episode. And then is it Newcastle or Palace? Both above us at the moment, so we'll judge it when we get closer to the game. Ricky J. Jones, joint top scorer in the league on 8 though. And John Moore is improving in training. So if we can get the rest of those attributes up, hopefully those mistakes will dwindle out of his game. Maybe Zach Geacock makes a comeback again, who knows. But despite those 2 disappointing results today, and the fact that we were cost them by individual errors, we are in 12th place after 9 matches. And if you'd have offered me that at the start of the season, I would have bitten your arm off for it. I am delighted. So we're not going to panic. The goal difference is still level. The results are still okay. But how are we going to react to what is likely to be 5 or 6 games without a win after we've played the big sides next month? We'll find out in a couple of days' time, but if you did enjoy this episode, the start of the decline and the poor run, please do put a thumbs up on it. The honeymoon is over. Let me know in the comments if you think we're going to get dragged into the battle. And how amazed are you at the start we've had? I know the fixtures have been friendly, and we've lost to everyone we've played above us. If we can get results against that bottom 8, we've got an absolute chance. So if you want to stay up to date and find out if we can do it, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Please don't let Ricky get injured, because I think that would be the end of our chances. You can find in the eye above the link to the head coach series. We'll be back with a transfer special in that one tomorrow. Director of Football in charge, hopefully he'll deliver the goods. There's also links up there to the Twitch channel for regular live streams and the football podcast as the run into the championship season looms large. You can find the 10-year bookmark from the head coach save above my head. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you here again in a couple of days' time.